Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore isn't backing down from his fight to bring conservative values to the American people. But as more accusers come forward with sexual allegations, pressure is mounting from the GOP for Moore to pull his hat out of the ring. And yet, without ever having had a trial, Moore has been convicted by the jury of public opinion, and whether or not he's guilty doesn't really seem to matter to the media or mainstream politicians. One America News decided to get to the bottom of the matter and visited Gadsden, Alabama, where many of the stories making the rounds in the news allegedly unfolded. Our first stop was to the Gadsden Mall, made famous by unverified claims that Roy Moore had been banned for predatory behavior towards teenage girls. Yet when we investigated, none of those reports could be confirmed. In fact, we found many stories were based on nothing more than hearsay and rumors. When we arrived at the mall looking for answers, we were immediately asked to leave by mall security. When we tried to question the security personnel, they told us they'd never seen any paperwork to verify the claims against Moore. I then contacted Stacy Keating, a spokeswoman for the mall, who backed up the security guard's statements and informed me there are no records from that time period. When asked where the accusers might be getting their information, she said she wasn't sure, but that the mall had no evidence to support their accusations. Furthermore, the senior security official explained that no one had been working at the mall long enough to personally know anything about the situation, meaning there is no evidence or witnesses to back up the spurious accusations against Roy Moore. Next, we headed to downtown Gadsden to get the perspective from people living in the community. Most were supportive of Moore and say they're not sure where the allegations are coming from, but the timing is very suspect.
One thing, I've been in this community all my life. I'm 61 years old. I've never heard this before, so it's kind of surprises me. If he's done something like this, he probably doesn't deserve to be in office, but at the same time, I have to wonder why it's never come out before.
Mike went on to say that he even went to the same high school as Moore, though not at the same time, and no one there ever mentioned this kind of behavior. We kept asking questions and discovered that Mike isn't alone.
Coming into the election 30 days out, all of a sudden you have these allegations against a guy that's been in office, for 20-something years, 2 major elections for the state Supreme Court, for governor, this kind of thing, and these things didn't come up. So your initial thought is very suspicious in timing,
Many others we spoke to felt the same way and thought that Moore was being treated unfairly by both the GOP establishment as well as the mainstream media. They say that considering how public his position has been until now, it's very unusual that at this critical point in the election cycle, these kinds of allegations would suddenly appear.
That is the question, and that's the thing you sit back and ask yourself. Why? When you're talking about running for the highest judicial office in the state, Chief Justice, there was a lot of money spent in both of those races to defeat him. So you would think opposition research pulls these things out. And I've heard, myriad of explanations of why someone would wait that many years and then finally this close to, an election that controls the balance of power in Washington, why they wait that long. It really smells kind of fishy to me.
While many residents were supportive, many others were simply afraid to speak out. Numerous people we talked with adamantly supported Roy Moore, but said they feared losing their jobs or other public backlash if they went on camera to voice their opinion. One man who wasn't afraid to go on record in support of Moore was Caston Smith, a pastor from Samson, Alabama. Smith told us that some of the accusers had a questionable past and threw doubt on their credibility. While several local pastors have claimed that Lee Korfman has made other sexual harassment allegations in the past, Smith says that she also has a severe drug problem. This is something Korfman has even admitted herself, and Smith claims that she is addicted to painkillers, among other drugs, including heroin. Other pastors have come forward in support of Moore as well, with conservative group Faith to Action hosting a news conference Thursday, November 16th in Birmingham, Alabama. Speakers included many local and out-of-state pastors, as well as Dr. Alan Keyes, who praised Moore for his sterling character.
This characterizes Judge Roy Moore. He's a man who's committed to his principles no matter what the cost. That's why we need an uncompromising man who's unswerving in his principles to uphold the Constitution and its Christian values.
We need someone in the Senate who's got that same mettle, that same strength of character to stand up against the swamp, to stand up against the establishment, and that man is Judge Roy Moore.
Friends, I know the man, and he is a man of character. So therefore, we're standing with him as born-again Christians. Amen. To stand for my brother, Roy Moore.
Judge Moore has an impeccable track record of 30 years of faithfulness to his wife and love for God and country. So as for me and my house, we will stand with Judge Roy Moore.
But Moore doesn't just have the support of the community and local leaders. His support goes straight to the top of Alabama's government. Governor Kay Ivey spoke to reporters on Friday, saying she believed Moore was the best choice for the people of Alabama.
I will cast my ballot on December the 12th, and I do believe that the nominee of the party is the one I'll vote for. I believe in the Republican Party and what we stand for, and most important, we need to have a Republican in the United States Senate to vote on the things like Supreme Court justices, other appointments that the Senate has to confirm and make major decisions.
Governor Ivey went on to say that she thought the timing of the women's confessions seemed curious. Her support, as well as those of countless others, fall back on Moore's decades-long track record as a public servant and his long history going back to his childhood in Alabama. Born in 1947 and raised in Gadsden, Moore attended services every Sunday at Gallant Baptist Church. He finished high school in 1965 and went on to West Point Military Academy, graduating in 1969. He moved through the ranks, becoming commander of the 188th Military Police Company. There he was known for his strict adherence to the rules, earning him the respect of his comrades. Serving in the Vietnam War, many of the troops in Moore's military police battalion referred to him as Captain America due to his no-nonsense discipline and attitude against drug use. Moore's service to his country didn't stop after he was discharged from the Army in 1974. He then followed a career in law after attending the University of Alabama's Law School in 1977. During his legal career, colleagues remembered Moore to be a great orator who was particularly gifted at closing arguments. In 1992, Moore finally became a circuit court judge and served until his election as Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court in 2000. However, his service as Chief Justice was cut short after a controversial ruling regarding a Ten Commandments monument that the judge erected. This kicked off a battle with the state of Alabama that would continue for over 20 years as Moore repeatedly fought the establishment over various issues, always to uphold his beliefs. He was elected twice and removed from office twice, but never gave up on protecting the U.S. Constitution. From West Point to the Army to Vietnam and then law school, Moore was busy serving his country, and those who knew him say all his time was dedicated to his work.
I have known Roy Moore for 15 years. I worked with him and for him between 2001 and 2016. Most recently as his Chief of Staff in the Alabama Supreme Court. I can also say I've traveled with the man, I've worked with the man, I've been in the inner office with the man, I've been in various cities around this state and in various states around the nation. I've seen him with crowds of thousands, and I've seen him one-on-one, and I can say without a shadow of a doubt that the man has been nothing but honorable and trustworthy and honest to me and to anybody in his presence, men and women alike.
Yet his efforts to defend American values haven't protected him from politicians in Washington, and pressure is growing against his campaign. But a closer look reveals that pressure isn't evenly distributed. After photographs emerged of inappropriate behavior from Senator Al Franken, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell called for a full investigation into the matter. Yet after only receiving allegations and no actual evidence, McConnell and many other ranking GOP members have sided with Moore's accusers and demanded that he step down.
In this case, it does seem to be kind of upside down. It seems like the guy that admits it with the evidence against him should be the one they're trying to kick out, and the guy that's being accused should be given the opportunity to defend himself. It is upside down, but that is what it is.
Moore took to Twitter to address the situation, calling for Mitch McConnell to resign instead. Even those in the media have been quick to take up arms against Moore, with Fox News host Sean Hannity leveling a 24-hour ultimatum for the Senate candidate to prove his innocence.
For me, the judge has 24 hours. You must immediately and fully come up with a satisfactory explanation for your inconsistencies that I just showed. You must remove any doubt. If you can't do this, then Judge Moore needs to get out of this race.
This demand comes in sharp contrast to Hannity's previous statements, in which he suggested that the women accusing Moore of misconduct were simply lying for their own profit. Despite that previously staunch support, all it took for Hannity to swiftly backpedal and abandon Roy Moore, as well as the belief in innocence until proven guilty, was for his sponsors to pull their advertisements from his show. With a lightning-quick turnaround, Hannity, along with the RNC and numerous senior Republicans, including former Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions, turned their backs on the foundation of American justice. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, the cornerstones of media in the United States and some of the biggest influencers of public opinion are content to persecute Roy Moore without a shred of evidence.
We are in a country that believes in the principle of a man is proven innocent is innocent until proven guilty. And look, even people in the media are taking this position of, yeah, but that is only in court. No, it's not. That's a principle of this country. It's always been that way. It's a bedrock of what we believe. So coming out 30 days out, how do you defend yourself on things that really even the accusers can't prove? It's just, that's the scary part of this thing.
Allegations alone are now enough to destroy someone's career and personal life, leaving their credibility in ruins, whether or not it ever proves to be true. And if the only evidence required is unproven hearsay, without any verifiable proof, then the support of the thousands of people coming out with stories of Roy Moore's sterling character must surely outweigh the evidence against him. With these relentless attacks on a public figure, politicians and the media are taking the unprecedented step of waging war on a pillar of the American judicial system. The presumption of innocence embodied through the 5th, 6th, and 8th Amendments is being worn away until the accusers no longer need to prove their claims, forcing the accused to prove they aren't guilty. It's a slippery slope, and if action isn't taken to protect our liberties, it could have profound repercussions for all Americans.
We have really a moment in time. As the bells ring, we have this moment in time to make a decision. This is a time of choosing about the kind of state we're going to have, the kind of nation we're going to have. And this is what I know. If they are successful in assassinating the character and ruining the career of Honorable Judge Roy Moore, then none of us are safe.
Pearson Sharp, One American News.